Goeiemorgen. My name is Wildkard. It's 3 o'clock in the morning in Australia, and I just watched the Springboks versus Wales. We finally won a test series, man. The Southerners. We finally won a test series this weekend. I thought it was gonna be a Northerner clean sweep, man. Oh my god. We did it. We won. One of the test series. Oh my god. Well, I didn't know how I was gonna live with myself if all the Southerners lost this weekend, man. I honestly. Oh my god. I had some complaints as well last week that I don't talk about Wales very much, apparently. Apparently I'm being biased. So I'm gonna be, let's talk about Wales. Let's talk about Wales right now, okay? Gareth Anscombe didn't even get onto the field. So, this game was played in the beautiful city of Cape Town. And man, that place is absolutely stunning. That they had like an aerial shot of the Cape Town above the stadium, and like the first one, oh my god, like over the water, the stadium over the water with the sunset, and the what do you call it, the mountains on the back. Man, that is just out of this world. And I love how like the South Africans don't just have like buildings on top of everything. All the mountain tops, the mountain ranges, they don't have any. I noticed they don't have any buildings, so it's just like pristine, like beautiful mountainsides, and then like everybody else is like living in the valley. Man, that's good. Like, in Australia, no matter where you go, there's always, it's civilization. Even if you go to like the wilderness, not wilderness, if you even go to like, the mountains or whatever, there's always like some kind of civilization that's you can see. But this is just pristine. It was like, almost like wilderness, and then people all living, in the valley. Man, that is stunningly beautiful, to be honest. Let me have my notes up. So this was a absolute textbook performance by the Springboks. If Rassie Erasmus was going to write a book about how to play for the Springboks or how to win the Rugby World Cup, this is it. Hard tackling, hard belting running. There's nothing fancy from the Springboks. Just quick ball, quick ball, short passes, crash ball. Just get that big dominant force to run you down again and again and again until you are physically unable to answer the defense, right? And then it's just the set piece, the scrum dominance, the more dominance. The Springboks had to work a little bit for the more dominance, which just makes that a little bit more exciting. The Welsh actually did quite well early in the first half to hold off the more from the Springboks, kind of expecting, the Springbok more to be a bit more dominant. But yeah, the Welsh did quite well early on to stop the more. It took all the way till just before the end of the half before Bungi Bunabi were able to score from the more. And also the scrum as well. The turf looked a little bit soft. Not sure if it's been raining or whatever in Cape Town, but there was a lot of slippage in the scrummaging. And in fact, players were slipping all over the field. And yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. Maybe the grass is just a bit too soft. It's just, I don't know, maybe it's just a bit too short or something. People were slipping left and right on the field. The scrummaging was a bit of a mess. I did feel like the Springboks had the scrum dominance, but because of the soft turf that the Springboks were slipping, they actually lost a few scrums to the Welsh. So yeah, it's a bit of a 50-50 as a result of that, so it wasn't really ideal situations. They got to get that fixed before the All Blacks come to town, to be really frank. And the Springboks did exceptionally well in the first half with just the amount of pressure they applied, every opportunity they had with a penalty, instead of just kicking for 3 points like they normally would. I thought this showed a lot of heart, a lot of guts, and just a clear change in terms of strategy and mindset for the Springboks. This is exactly the mentality you need to be the All Blacks. And they pressured that extremely well in the first half just grinding the Welsh down physically and mentally. And you can see it, the Welsh in the second half, they were tired, they were rust, they looked like, they had opportunity for themselves, and they just couldn't, connect because they were worn down so much by the Springboks 4-pack. When they did have the opportunity to score points, to make line breaks or create a bit of a space, they're not able to capitalize on that. Like, people were just not really in position, not ready for it, physically and mentally, just being worn down so much. And this is, exactly beautiful Springbok rugby on display there. Also, it won't be Springbok rugby without some stupid kicking by Pollard. So first of all, I don't understand how this works. Pollard played like a perfect game in the first half. Like, no stupid kicking. Like, he showed that, Remember there was a time when I think it was when Pollard first debuted, and he was playing against the All Blacks, I think it was. And he just got the ball at center field, and he almost plays like a center where he just puts the foot down, just injects himself straight through, a little gap in front of him, and goes under the post. I think he did that against All Blacks early in his career, and he did that this game. I was like, and he literally ran through 2 forwards as well, including the blindside flanker on the Welsh side. So really showed that, I was like, wow, something that we haven't seen from Pollard for so long. He has just been, he's stopped running the ball essentially. And today he did that and scored a try. It was just beautiful. And this was a try where it was so impressive because the Springboks was just grinding the Welsh down. And the Welsh was able to hold on. Nobody was able to actually breach through the defense until Pollard gets the ball. He's like, guys, I'll show you why I got the 10 jersey. Pummels himself through 2 forwards for a try. That was beautiful. And then second half, right? It's almost like part of the Springbok strategy to the dot. The stupid kicking started in the second half. So many, especially late in the second half when the game is kind of 50-50. It's just started just trying to grab a kick behind to nobody, just high balls, unpressured high balls. And oh man, and just ironically as well, this is when Faf de Klerk gets on the field. So Faf is box kicking, and then we have 100 Pollard doing this weird grabber kick across field kicks. And I'm just like, what is going on? It's almost like a different person on the field. But anyway, of course, it's a Springbok rugby. That's something that you would expect. 100 Pollard doing stupid kicking. It won't be a Springbok test match without stupid kicking from Pollard, right? So yeah, that happened. And also, I thought the Springboks really did well at the breakdown as well. There was the work rate from some of the forward was so high. Peter Sif-Dutoy was just flooding the breakdown again and again and again. In fact, the Springboks made a really strategic decision to change their lineup as well. They had Jasper Wiese early in the game, where clearly he was there to chase the high ball. We know that's what he does. He is the number 1 guy from the Springbok forwards that pressures the high ball. And then the coaches realized that the kicking game wasn't really playing, the running game was doing much better, and they wanted more speed on the field. They put on Huaga Smith early in the first half, and that made a huge difference. Just immediately, the intensity went up a notch once he was on the field. And this was a kind of bizarre change. So this was 25-30 minutes in the first half. A weird time to do a change. But the coaches identified that issue. And I was excited. I was like, the coaching team has identified that the high ball kicking wasn't really wasn't really doing anything. And only for Pollard to be like, hey guys, I think we should go back to some more kicking in the second half. So that was a bit funny. And then there was also one point where Damian Valencia, once again, just this guy, every time I watch him, he shows something that I'm just unbelievably surprised how good he is. The way he's not we typically think of Damian Valencia, right? He's just under the high ball, really solid, being able to do a bit of kicking, bit of running, bit of support. That's kind of what we think of. Today, I think as a result of Cheslin Kobe getting injured, I think they moved him to center. I think he was moved to center, outside center, and then they had Villaroo at fullback, and then I think they pushed Lukamyo to the wing. I'm pretty sure that's what they did. and Damien Valencia at outside center. My God. I know he plays center for the Stormers. Man, the way he's able to just get the ball, run into two defenders, right, with ease, get his one hand free and flicks the perfect pass out. I honestly, no one in South Africa can do that better than he. Like, both the current centers, right, Lukam and Damien Delende, I can't remember them doing that. Like, he did like Valencia did this like probably at least 2 or 3 times from memory. I can't even remember. Just like gets the ball. In fact, one time he got the ball, wasn't even in a good position. He was just like, the ball just randomly popped to him. He's like, all right, I'll just do what I normally do. Runs in, just, get 2 defenders on him, fending off one hand, gets the ball through with the other, flicks out to Lukam on the wing, and he almost gets a 50-22 Lukam with a little kick behind. Like, I was so impressed with Valencia. Man, this guy. I don't even know what else to say, man. He's unbelievable. And obviously, we've talked about Wales. I do feel like they probably should put Anscombe on, especially when the Springboks was doing those stupid kicking, and when Wales was just hitting that bit of potential of making something happen, needed a little bit of a spark. They didn't even give him a chance at all this game. Yeah, I don't know why. Honestly, I don't know why. I thought Anscombe coming on the field last week immediately sparked a try for the Wales to win the test match last week. I thought this was a perfect chance. Wales had in the second half, there was a period where Wales was 10 points behind, and it looked like they could breach the try line many times, especially when Pollard was doing those stupid kicking. And yeah, I thought if Anscombe was on the field at that point, that something could have happened. The Welsh look worn out. They look out of ideas. They look tired. They needed something, and they did not bring on Anscombe, man. I was really bit disappointed and a bit baffled by the decision by the coaches here. So yeah, let's have a look at some of the match stats from the game. Springboks, like I said, this was a textbook performance. They need to play like the first half, the Springboks, against the All Blacks if they wanted to beat the All Blacks, coming up with 2 test matches in South Africa. So obviously, Springboks beat the run meters of Wales 385 to 250. At halftime, Springboks was leading run meters 155 to 107. At halftime, the Springboks had 7 defenders beaten. So the Welsh defense was really good. And Wales actually had 9 defenders. The Springboks defense has been a little bit, like I said, I've noticed a lot of slippage on the ground. Maybe that has something to do with it, but Springboks did miss a few more tackles than they typically would in this test match. As you can see, the defenders been in the second half for the Wales actually went up. So Wales actually beat 12 defenders in the second half as opposed to 9. And the Springboks, despite beating 7 defenders in the first half, only beat 6 in the second half. So Springboks literally went down, but Wales was not able to capitalize on that advantage that they created in the second half. Like, it just looked like players were tired and exhausted and not able to link up with that bit of energy that they needed to close out the game. And turnovers conceded 9 apiece at halftime. 5 turnovers to the Welsh, 3 turnovers to the Springboks. Tackles, 86 tackles to the Springboks, 21 missed tackles. That is, like I said, I don't know if this ground being slippery. That is really bad. Typically the Springboks is one of the best defending team in the world. I'm sure Jacko Johan will be probably talking to players about this after this one. This will be a key point to talk at in the team meeting next week, because the Springboks tackle count normally is like around 10 to 15 missed tackles, and that is out of like 150 tackles made. So with only 86 tackles being made, you miss 21. Yeah, Jacko Johan will be having a word about that next week. For the Welsh, much better, 135 tackles, 13. So that is a world-class performance in terms of the defense by the Welsh. But yeah, the Springboks defense, something needs to be worked on. The kicks in play, like you see here, like 26 kick for the Springboks, 19 for Welsh. Halftime, the Springboks leading the kicking games, 14 kicks to 9. And the lineouts, the Welsh missed 2 lineouts in the second half because the hooker couldn't throw in the ball straight. Yeah. What's his name? Lewis? No, was it Lewis Lake? What's his name? Lewis Lake? The reserve hooker coming on wasn't very good. Scrum, overall, I did feel like the Springboks had a dominance, but again, the ground slipping has resulted in a few penalties. Couple penalties going to the Welsh side. Penalties conceded overall 10 to the Springboks, 15 to the Welsh. They were giving penalties away left and right, under pressure by the Springboks, which is exactly what the Springboks wanted. I felt like the Springboks were really close to get like a penalty yellow card from the pressure. But yeah, absolutely doing the right things, but probably should have pressured that a bit more in the second half. The Welsh already considered 9 penalties in the first half, only 6 in the second half. So the pressure definitely came off a bit for the Springboks in that regards. Let's quickly have a talk about some of the key moments, some highlights of the game, right? So right away, the Springboks has an opportunity to like literally has the opportunity to kick 3 points. And in all the test match we saw in the past, even against Argentina, no disrespect to Argentina, in games where Springboks could have easily won, they would have opted for 3 here. But today, they played like with a different mentality, something that I really, really, really applaud. They go for the scrum, and go for the line out, go for the big fucking maul, and and I was excited, right? So 3 minutes into the game, the Welsh gets penalized again for not rolling, and following that penalty advantage, I think it was Pollard gets the ball, or maybe it was Lukami Arm actually. I think it was Lukami actually, crossfield kicks this to Mapimpi, and we saw the stats in my preview. Mapimpi did not touch the ball in the first test. Yeah, he made 1 tackle, and apparently he won 2 lineouts, so he did not touch the ball. He catches the ball on the bounce. Looked like he scores a try the first time he touched the ball in 2022, but he full winning touch. Yeah, really, really close. That was beautiful. Beautiful execution regardless. And finally, after that repeated period of pressure, the Springboks decides to take 3 points. So that's good. They applied pressure. They tried, and they said, enough is enough. We've been here long enough. Let's reset and take 3. Which is really good. A lot of time the Springboks just take the 3 right away and not even try to apply the pressure, which is something I really, really applaud. So Springboks gets on the board, 4 minutes in, 3 points to 0. On the 6th minutes, Springboks start doing a lot of the high balls, and Valencia is showing a lot of good skills under the high ball once again. So basically, Valencia catches the ball, right? This is like just so good. He catches the ball. He runs down the sideline. Dan Bigger, he like basically looks like he's free. Dan Bigger catches from behind, caught him by the leg. He gets tackled, and Valencia gets up, puts the ball down, picks up the ball and go again. And Dan Bigger just did not let him go. He needed to let him go and gets penalized for not releasing the player. Again, this was like just individual talent from Valencia to earn this penalty opportunity. Just the ability to get up, realizes that Dan Bigger is on the ground and needed to let him go. He gets up, right, puts the ball down, releases the ball and picks the ball back up. Immediately, Dan Bigger, there's no way Dan Bigger could let him go. If Dan Bigger let him go, he would have scored a try. Like that, just that, decision making by Valencia is so good. Yeah, I actually never seen anyone do this, to be honest. To realize the situation he was in, to just milk the penalty, like it was. Yeah, I didn't even know. Yeah, I can't recall somebody doing this. Let me know if you know another situation somebody did this where they realizes that they were getting held on. They get up, releases the ball, and gets a penalty out of it. Let me know. And again, this was a kickable penalty. The Springboks made the decision to go for line out. I was just super hyped. I want to see the big fucking maul from the Springboks. They kick the ball out for 5 meters line out. The maul comes in, not moving. The short ball to Delende. It looked like Delende gets over. He gets tackled, right? There was a player literally hanging onto the ball. he just wrestles the ball down regardless with the player hanging onto it, just showing that he's like bicep power essentially. We looked at the ball grounded, touched the line, but the referee's on-field decision was no try. The TMO could not find an angle that this was a clear try, so yeah, no try, but I thought that was really, really good effort. 5-meter scrum for the Springboks, and again, going from lineouts to scrummaging, exactly what I want to see. A big fucking scrum by the Springboks, and like honestly, this looked like this. So I think there was a repack before, but honestly, the scrum just literally started running forward towards the try line. I thought this could have been a penalty try here if Jasper Wiese just kept the ball in the scrum, but he got a bit panicked a little bit, almost like, and he picked the ball up. Maybe he felt like he lost control of the ball, like the ball came out, so he picked the ball up, but he just had to keep the ball in the scrum, control the ball, bit of a soccer skill there, and that would have been a penalty try. So the scrum was literally like just gunning forward, but Wiese picks the ball, he gets tackled, still had a full-on penalty advantage, but yeah, a few more phases later, the Springboks was not able to score, and then eventually there was another, they did another scrum, another penalty advantage, and Springboks still not able to score, and Hendrikse, and then there was the third penalty given away. Instead of doing another scrum, Hendrikse takes a quick tap. He saw the players out of position in front of him, right? He takes a quick tap, he runs in, and then he almost looked like he was surprised that nobody tackled him. He was literally like, he literally just had to pull the ball down, but instead he like panicked or something. Instead of putting the ball down, he turns around, and then he gets like wrapped up. I was like, he was so, go watch this. It was so weird. Like, he almost looked like he was surprised that nobody touched him because everybody was offside from the Welsh team. And he felt like he needs to be tackled at some point. So he turns around, and then instead of just putting the ball down, literally he was in front of the try line. He turns around and like gets tackled, just like he like giving himself up for the tackle, essentially. It was so weird. Anyway, I thought maybe he was like surprised that he was going to score. But regardless, the ball comes back out. They just start pounding up phases. 6 phases later, Hendrikse gets the ball out. Pollard in the center field, pass to him. Pollard gets the ball. Show that talent that we all know he had, that he somehow forgot how to use. He just takes the ball, runs straight ahead, 2 forwards in front of him, bumps himself through regardless, hard running, and goes in for just good body position and goes in for the try. And Springboks up 10 points to 0. On the 17th minute, Wales making some really good gains, finally getting inside the Springboks after just being on the inside the Springboks after just being pinned inside their own half for a very long time. George North showing some really good power on the sideline. He was just like physically overwhelming. What's his name? Cheslin Kobe, who suffered a broken jaw apparently from this game. So George North overwhelming from the sideline and just some hard running using that big frame of his, getting over the advantage line. And Wales is starting to look really good at this point. The Springboks is looking like they're missing a few tackles here, and the Welsh was able to get in the front foot. Eventually, Wales was like really close to the try line. The ball goes to the forward, who loops it behind to Dan Biggar. Dan Biggar, really quick ball to Tompkins. This ball went to the bootlace, but Tompkins scoops up anyway. He gets the ball long past Adams. Adams running down the sideline. He gets tackled. He throws the ball inside to Raffle. He gets the ball. Tommy Raffle, I think he was. Tommy gets the ball, runs in for the try. Yeah. Few missed tackles here by the Springboks. Really huge response by the Welsh. Score 10 points to 5. Dan Biggar misses the kick. On the 20th minute, Ibn Isbeth on his 100th test match, he gets a huge shot on the halfback. And that was... halfback was on the ground. Like, It was really funny. He was literally like, looked like he was screaming in pain. It was really funny. But yeah, and Ibn Isbeth just like, no emotion, was like, I didn't do it. It was so funny. On the 25th minute, the scrum and there was a few more scrum penalties for the Springboks, and Wales was giving a lot of scrums, a lot of penalties under pressure. So they get a warning, so they feel like maybe a yellow card was going to come. But yeah, Wales never got a yellow card. I felt like the referee could have probably given one out. And yeah, on the 32nd minute, Wales gives himself a little bit back in control. There was there was a really stupid penalty here. So basically, the referee has warned the South Africans to not use their hand to push. So basically, when you do a box kick, usually they have someone standing there as like a blocker to protect the kicker. And so what Pieter-Steph du Toit does this all the time, he puts his hands up like this. But usually he just kind of like stands there with his hands up like this. But today, he kind of pushed somebody. He actually extended his hand and pushed. And the referee saw that as a penalty. So yeah, this was right in front of their own goalpost. And yeah, this was a silly, easy 3 points given to Welsh. 10 points today. Really soft penalty. So after that, instead of putting his hands up like this, that he's always done for years, Pieter-Steph du Toit, he puts his head like in front of him, tucked up in front of him. So on the 36th minute, the Springboks going for again getting a penalty advantage. They use that advantage to go for a 5-meter line out, and this time, unlike the previous 2 lineouts where the Springboks kind of just look really messy, this time they set up well. The ball the ball didn't go forward initially, but then just starts moving forward. The Springboks purposely angled the ball like sideways to go infield to open up space out wide on the blind side. And Bungi Banabi sees the number 9 standing there. He's like, get out of my way, son. He just bolts to the try line. Too big, too low. The number 9 only can make it a only can pretend that he's doing something to make a tackle, but there was absolutely no way in hell he was going to stop Bungi Bunabi to score that try. Goes in, 50 test cap for Bungi Bunabi, and suddenly the scoreboard is 17 points to 8, and on the 39th minute, again, this is what I was talking about, Valencia was so good. He gets like a weird ball offloaded to him. He just runs into 2 defenders casually, and then flicks a pass to Lukamiyo on the wing, and just kicks the ball out, almost gets a 50-22 from this. But yeah, it was just like, I don't even know. This guy is so good. Yeah. So second half starts, halftime, the Springboks was leading quite comfortably. Second half starts, the Welsh comes out firing right away, like a minute in the second half. Wales gets a penalty, start chipping away the scoreboard, 17 points to 11. On the 42nd minute, there was a immediate reply. What is it called? So immediate response by the Springboks. This looks like a Springbok try. So, what's his name? Hendrikse gets the ball. He sees a gap down the sideline. He runs down the sideline. As he's getting tackled and is about to get pushed out, he throws the ball in field to Lukamiyo Army support, and Lukamiyo runs down the field, steps the fullback, goes in for the try, and the referee had a look, replay. The pass back in field was so marginally forward, and there was even no try. Yeah, like the Welsh just won't die, right? Like it's just like one of those things where you thought the Wales were out, and then they just can't. They just keep hanging in there. On the 44th minute, I think Wales get a penalty from a scrum. It just looked like the grass was too slippery. On the 47th minute, the Springbok is penalised again for offside. And Wales chip away another 3. Suddenly, the scoreboard difference is 17 points to 14. Only 3 points in it. Despite all the dominance the Springboks had in the first half. Like the Welsh just slowly call themselves back, man. They just won't die. They never die. The Red Dragon never dies, alright? On the 49th minute, it looked like there was a potential yellow card penalty. Again, one of those things where players in the ruck slaps the hand off the halfback to get the halfback to knock on. The South Africans appealing for a penalty, but the referee said that's okay. But they did have a penalty from a breakdown earlier anyway. So the Springboks, again, this was a kickable 3 points. Springboks says we're going to get the 7. They kick the ball out for 5 meter line out. Like, I really love this decision making. It's so good to see the Springboks utilizing that huge 4-pack, utilize that advantage, going for these lineouts, 5 meter lineout mauls. I love it. I want to watch it all day, and the Springboks are delivering it, so I'm happy. And basically they get the line out. And immediately the Springbok gets penalty advantage for the Welsh playing up the ball receiver in the air. And yeah, the Maul didn't get through, but the Springboks gets the Welsh gets another warning. No penalty advantage. No what is it? No yellow cards. What do you call it? What happened then? What do you call it? I think the Springboks takes a tap from this penalty. They did not go for the line out. Anyway, they get the ball, start running the ball, just really basic hard running stuff. 1-2 passes, crash ball, quick ball comes out, 1-2 passes, crash ball. From one side of the field all the way to the other, from the right hand side all to the left hand side, exhaust the field and just come back the other way. 7 phases later, the 7 phases probably took like 30 seconds to do. This is how fast it was. Just 7 phases just immediately gone by. Eventually, Sia Khaleesi gets some space in open field. He runs himself through. The captain himself goes in for the third try for the Springboks. And then Pollard converts this one, 22 points to 14. The scoreboard opens up a bit more. And then the Welsh, from this point going all forward, starts getting a bit of a slump. The lineouts are not going so well. But the Welsh started to show a little bit more, what do you call it? Like desperation in this bit. They try to feel Morse now instead of just trying to, they try to try a few of their own Morse, and it's actually yielded quite a good results. The couple Morse that the Welsh did were actually going forward, and the Springboks were getting penalised for collapsing the Maul. On the 62nd minute, Pollard started to do this stupid kicking. Coincidentally, Faf de Klerk is on the field at the same time. This literally 60 seconds. Pollard gets a ball inside the Welsh 22, just randomly grabber kicks it behind, and Welsh just scoops it up. Thanks guys, thanks man. We really needed the ball back there. And again, 63rd minute, high ball from Pollard. None of this was in the first half. Start kicking left and right. Whilst Valencia did do really well to catch this sort of things, but you kick a high ball up, just. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. Not really trying to, it's almost like they suddenly decided to use a different, the strategy completely changed at this point for some reason. So I kind of understand it. The Springboks wants to control the territory, so the boys played inside the Welsh half to close out the game. But you are not in a position of conceding points. You're already inside the Welsh half. Kicking the ball further into the Welsh half, the Wilds cannot score when you're inside. They don't have a kicker that can kick 60 meters. So you're already inside the Welsh 50. There's no way they can score the Welsh. I don't really understand why they're kicking the ball forward when it's literally just giving the ball to Welsh. It's just I get what they're thinking. But they needed to apply more pressure before the kick. You can't just get the ball one phase and kick it away. It's just, stupid kicking from Pollard. On the 68th minute, there was a 22-meter line out for the Welsh. Again, we know that Moore it's not bad. They've scored a try in the first test with the Moore. So they have a 22-meter line out. They set up more. The Springboks gets penalised for side entry, and suddenly you're looking like the Springboks is looking like they're under a bit of pressure. But the Welsh, despite this little bit of advantage they're getting, they're not able to execute that. Maybe it's because they're worn out on the first half, maybe because of tour, whatever reason, the Welsh just not clicking. They had, anyway, on 69th minute, the Welsh had a 5-meter line out. They overthrow the ball. Yeah, Sia Khaleesi scooped this one up. So there was a lot of slipping around the field as well. Vili LaRue misses the tackle, allowing he slips in a tackle, basically allowing Josh Adams to run through a gap. And it looked really damaged. He tries to link up with the players, but there was the Welsh was not even ready to link up with him. So he gets tackled. It was really dangerous, actually, looking like they could probably find a try here, and then this will be suddenly this will be a much closer game, and this Springboks will be under the pump again. On the 73rd minute, the Springboks was just getting hammered again and again and again by Welsh. Whilst give us a penalty. And a free exit for the Springboks. And yeah, and suddenly the clock is looking like there's not going to be enough time for Wales to catch up the 10-point difference. And in 76th minute, the Springboks gets himself into the Welsh half, start putting on a bit of attack, and just really building those phases. It looked like, yeah, the Welsh was a bit tired. The Springboks look a bit tired too, a bit messy, both team. But eventually, the Springboks gets a penalty for offside. This was a kick for 3. Pollard kicks this one, 27 points, 14. Suddenly, the gap is 2 tries. It's looking like a huge hill that you need to climb. On the 78th minute, Springboks just doing what they do best, trying to manage the game, trying to close to the game, gets another breakdown penalty inside the Welsh half. Pollard slots this one in. Scoreboard, 30 points, and that's no way the Welsh team can win this one anymore. And yeah, that's the way the game ended. Finally, somebody in the southern teams had to do something to win a game this weekend. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching this video. Like, comment, and subscribe. I do appreciate you being here. And have a good weekend. And have some sausages and biltong or whatever you call it. And yeah, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next week for the news and whatnot. And thank you for being here. Cheers.